It's your buddy Icarus here. Today we're gonna play Towerfall Ascension. I was gonna play this with Kisa today until she got called in for work, thanks to a coworker calling off. Because we recently bought Dark World, the expansion to it, and then this is made by, as you saw on the splash screen before, Matt Makes Games. It's not Bob builds games, not Connor conceives games, not Don develops games, not even Sam spawns games. It's Matt Makes Games. Simple as that. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into Dark World content because I'm still a little rusty. It's been a while since I've played this, other than playing earlier today with my 2-year-old nephew who more or less just figured out how to walk and that's it. I mean, walk in game. He's pretty good at walking in real life and doing other things. He's even almost talking at this point. So, this game, for the people who haven't already seen it or tried it or had friends talk their ear off about it, all three's happened to me before I even owned it. Is a simple archer game. It's a 2D platform style, almost Mega Man-esque. You know I love those. Its versus mode is mostly what we've played, and this red archer is the new and the variant costumes for each of the archers are really the main differences between having Dark World and not. And also the Dark World levels, which allow up to 4-player co-op, which that's always neat. For the time being, I'm just going to be using one of my favorite archers, the Prancing Puppet. Keith actually looked up the wiki on this game to find the stories behind each of these archers, and found them to be kind of fantastic. But I went kind of over my head. I caught a few details here and there. We might talk more about the story, because up until today, when Kisa looked it all up, I didn't realize that there even really was a cohesive story. I just thought, well, it's a neat little game where you can go and play, fight, die, whatever. For the sake of practicing on terms that aren't too maddening for me, and at the same time not too disappointing for you guys to watch, I am going to be practicing with the King's Court level of the base game. That is the last level of the game's story mode before you get to the unlockable levels that are really tough to beat. Ha! Distraction strategy for the win. Okay, actually, he was doomed when he fell down the hole. Oh, don't be something bad. Don't be you're something bad. Oh dear. Thank you! I like lasers. And I keep forgetting I can't shoot those guys from the front. Oh, hey! I should be able to shoot you guys from the bottom just fine. Woohoo! Woohoo! Oh dear! No! No chain reactions! For those wondering, that was not planned. I am not that good at this game. Oh dear, he's got bombs. I forgot that archer has bombs. Oh, I died. Ow! Again. There we go. So, I am not gonna win this round, I'm pretty sure. But I've made it far enough to wake up the king. Who, apparently in the story, the king was... corrupted by forces from the Dark World. Ow. And that is why all the bad things happened. And why? Why you guys gotta spawn right on my face? No, no. I am perfectly happy not having an explanation for that, as long as I don't have to deal with you stabbing me. There we go. Oh, hit the laggy moment. Too many goos on screen. No ghosty goo. Oh, that bug is probably the worst part. Okay, can I reach the bug or the ghosty goo? Hey! Bug. Oh, am I gonna be able to get that arrow back? Because I really like having my arrows. Thank you. Ow. I am not skilled enough. I have not the skills. Fortunately, the maps on this game are not timed. Can I pick up the ghost hat? Oh, I picked up my hat back up. Yay! The prancing puppet shall prance again. Well, the king and his assassins tried dealing with me. Ow! That was a dead Icarus. Do not repeat the Icarus's foolish actions. No! Would you not? What? Dude. Ow. Bombs. The bombs, they foil me. Okay, I'm gonna be trying again, because that probably didn't take me very long. And it was a lot of fun. Reaper down. Slimy down. Other slimy down. Okay, got that guy down before he could cause me grief. Another slimy down. As long as I keep the number of enemies on the screen down to a reasonably low number. What? That was a really should not have happened situation. And I am missing my hat. I've got a friend the friend who introduced me to this game, very attached to his hats. Pick up my hat. And he will value recovering his hat in a match of this game more than winning the match. Guys, you're only supposed to be able to swipe things that are in front of you. Okay. Round 3. Round 3 is archers! Round 4, king wakes up. Where's my hat? Well, the king wakes up and decides he wants to kill me. I'm gonna get my hat and give it over here. I'm gonna die! I'm gonna die! I may look like I'm doing good, but what you guys really don't realize is I'ma die. Okay. Sir Kingliness down. Oh, there's a laser. I like my lasers. Oh, there's my light. I kind of like that too. I wish I could say that was planned. Ooh, wings. As long as I don't die, these will help me a lot. I can't believe I can fly. No! Okay. Ow, I was supposed to be on the head of that guy. Okay, let's go get my hat back. Oh dear. Not that the hat matters to anyone but my good friend who... Oh, my wings. Well, so far I'm making good progress. Oh. Oh, laser gone. Oh, laser back. Oh dear. Laser gone. Extra arrows. Okay, I can live with this. Last round. I might do this. In only 2 tries. Might. Answers probably will not. No! Please don't explode on me! Don't defend him, he's evil! Okay. Oh dear, I'm doomed. I don't know how I survived that. I don't know how I managed that. Why am I alive? Hey, you took my wings. For that, I'm taking your crown. I've got a crown! Haha! I picked up the crown at the last moment! I am the wiener! Alright. It only took me 5¼ minutes. Well, that's my first time beating this game on this copy. I played on a friend's copy before. Told you I was going through rebuying things. If I had someone to play with right now, I could show you a bit more of the versus mode. As is, I could at least show you like the variants, which are special options that you can set during a multiplayer match. Because you see, here we have an auto balance feature. By default, whoever is in the lead will have 1 less arrow than everyone else. And if that lead grows, other things will come into play, like the lower totem pole players will get shields, wings, other bonuses that'll just help them along. I don't know if they get wings. I know they get shield stuff. Weak auto balance, I think, just changes the amount of arrows people have based upon who's in the lead. Whoever's in the lead gets the least arrows. I normally use this setting no auto balance because of the fact that I'm normally playing against people who are about as skilled as myself. So no matter how big a lead I or they may have, there's always the possibility of turning around. See, yeah, it says right here, it disables the shield advantage. So it's just going to be arrows. Friendly fire is in team play. Yes, there's a team deathmatch mode if you got 3 or 4 people. And no friendly fire, you can't shoot your friends. Fantastic. I wish that option were available in co-op. No time limit. I always have this option on because if a match goes too long, the walls will close in on you. Not the walls themselves, but these weird purple death walls will just close in and murder everybody on the screen because you took too long to kill each other, so why not? Sudden death means scores don't matter. Just when somebody dies, they die. Last man standing wins. I think that's it. There's no data on that. You'll notice on some of these there's an explain for by hitting the left trigger. Team Revive is a neat feature added in Dark World, where if you're in a team deathmatch setting, you can bring your fallen comrade back to life, as long as you can keep their corpse defended long enough, and stand on it. You literally have to stand on the space where their dead body is. Gun style. I believe this is is not necessarily an Easter egg. It's easy to find. It's a reference to a director who, when characters are killed in shows or movies that he manages, it blacks out the whole screen except for a close-up of that character's face or the shot killing them. And that's exactly what happens with this setting on. When someone dies, it blacks out the screen except for a small circle showing the person who died and how it happened. Now, treasure chests will also spawn at random during multiplayer matches, versus matches, I should say. No treasure changes that. Max treasure makes sure that the most treasure that can spawn will spawn every map. Always big treasure means that when a big chest can spawn, which will pop out I think 3 items, it will be a big chest. Bottomless treasure is my favorite because it's one chest per map that just keeps spitting out treasure. Always, for the entire map. It's kind of fabulous. Bomb chests, another fun feature if you want to mess with people. The chests will be trapped. When you open them, some of them will have bombs in them instead of treasure that will kill you. Symmetrical treasure will make sure that treasure will spawn on the same side. If treasure spawns on one side of the map, it'll spawn on the other side of the map, which makes it so that everybody can get some. It doesn't work with bottomless or always big, I don't think, but it's always nice to make sure everyone gets their fair share. Show treasure spawns will put a little treasure box outline on the maps where you're encountering, where a treasure chest will pop up. And I know some of these are self-explanatory, I should just point at them and go. Treasure Draft actually pops a list of treasure at the start of the map and will make it so that once the treasure that each person can pick from that draft, I think the order is determined by who is in the lead, i.e. they get the last pick because screw them, they don't need an advantage. I never use this setting unless I'm going to have a box spawning a whole bunch of different arrows, but no arrows, obviously no arrows. Single arrow, 1. Max arrows, you can hold up to 6 arrows at a time. And so it'll fill your quiver with 6 instead of starting with 3 like you saw when I was playing single player there. Regenerating arrows is a new feature in Dark World. If you have no arrows, you will gain 1. I like that. I like that a lot. Or more specifically, my friends and nephews who are extremely trigger happy like that a lot. Me, I tend to be kind of conservative about my arrows unless I'm using these or these, which I'll explain when I get to them. Secret arrows means you can't see your quiver. You don't know what arrows you have until you're firing one. Bomb arrows explode. Simple as that. Laser arrows bounce off walls. You saw me using them against the king and some of the minions. Saw me do a nice trick shot that completely on accident. I wish I could take credit for being skilled enough to have intentionally done that. Killed 2 slans and a prism with the laser arrow. I don't know how I managed. Bramble arrows will make thorny brambles wherever they land, including in another player's corpse if you actually hit somebody with them. Which, not that hitting people with the arrows is that difficult a task, unless you're playing with the experts who know how to make the most of every single dodge. The friend who introduced me to this, I think, is of that caliber. And about half the time I can actually stay on par with him. Drill arrows are... interesting but cheap, considering most of the time you spawn on maps across from each other with a single wall at the border of the screen between you. If he turns around and fires, insta-kill. Cheap shot, not worth it. The only redeeming grace is that these drill arrows, when they are drilling, are slow. So you can usually get away and get another wall between you and them. Unless they turn this feature on, and that I'll talk about when we get to it. Bolt arrows will actually chase people. If you fire a bolt arrow and it reaches a point where there's nothing but open air between it and another person, no matter whether it's going in the right direction, I mean, if it's not going in the right direction, it will turn to aim to go for that person. It'll continue following that person if they can manage to keep going around corners to avoid it, but it can still see them in open air. I would like to collect some footage of that someday, but for the most part, I think I've only done that once, and then promptly died as I tried to see how long I could keep it up. If someone catches a bolt arrow, by the way, you can catch an arrow by dashing into it. If someone catches the bolt arrow, it emits a shockwave that kills whoever is nearby them. Fantastic way to get a kill on someone who thinks they're going to get an automatic win off of seeking arrows like this. Super bomb arrows, just like bomb arrows, they explode, but instead of exploding, like one somewhat large space, it explodes about twice the radius of a bomb arrow, which gives about 5 times as much actual coverage. Don't ask me how that works. I just know that I've seen someone with bomb arrows super bomb arrows blanket the entire screen with destruction, whereas the most I've seen with normal bomb arrows is like a corner of it. Feather arrows are not affected by gravity. They do not arrow drop. And there's another option down here, no gravity, anti-gravity arrows. I haven't tried this yet. It's a new feature in Dark World. I think it makes all arrows act like feather arrows, which kind of would make feather arrows pointless. Alternately, it might make the gravity of the arrow drop make the arrows go up instead of down. That sounds a little weird, but that sounds actually more likely, because otherwise that option would completely nullify the purpose of feather arrows. Now, these two next arrows are Dark World specific arrows, and they're the reason why, and one of them is the reason why I bought Dark World. Trigger arrows are just like bomb arrows, with one exception, one beautiful exception. You get to pick when they go off. Isn't that lovely? You can shoot all 6, your entire quiver, all over the map in different spots. Then you hit a button, and you have blown up the map. Or anything destructible on it, and any players happening to stand anywhere near your trigger arrows. I love these to death. I played around with them a little with my friend who had Dark World about 4, maybe 6 months before I even thought it might be a good idea to buy it myself. Then we got prism arrows here. These ones, if someone is fool enough to catch them instead of trying to dodge them, we'll trap them in a box for a few seconds. A tiny box where they're kind of hosed. Because when you're in a tiny box and there are people potentially shooting at you from various directions, you will die. There is no way out of that. You have to be like the best player in the game to survive those 2 seconds in that box, unless your luck out and your friends happens to be your friend's last arrow and you're safe, because you have to wait for them to get more arrows and they can't jump on your head because you're in a box. They try to jump on your head, they jump on the top of the box. That's about your only saving grace with these, is if they were out of arrows and this was their last one and they're just stalling. Random arrows is a kind of fun option. You don't know what kind of arrows you're going to get. Your entire quiver is going to be one of these arrow types, and you just don't know. Toy arrows are dumb. And they're stupid. And they're stupid. And they're dumb. They're mainly for if you want to just make the game all silly, which is a fun thing to do sometimes, but not regularly. I usually pair toy arrows with a bottomless chest and bomb chests. because that means the bottomless chest will spit out nothing but bombs, and I use toy arrows to try pushing my opponent into the bomb. It's kind of amusing. Infinite lasers makes it so that instead of bouncing, I think it was 5 times is how much a laser will bounce on its own, instead of bouncing those 5 times, it might just be 3. I might have just gotten more bounce out of the laser during the fight with the king because of the fact that it killed things along the way. But normally a laser will only bounce like 3 or 5 times. This means it won't stop bouncing until it hits something that will stop it. This could be an obstruction, it could be a chest, it could be a player, but it keeps going till it hits a something. Same with the infinite drills. Instead of drilling through one wall, the drill arrow will continue drilling endlessly until it murders a person or hits an obstruction. I'm not a fan of this. Infinite brambles works the same way. Normally, bramble arrows will leave their brambly death spaces for only a couple seconds, but with infinite brambles, they stay forever. I've got a friend who loves bramble arrows, and if I play with him with this feature, I am bound to just die because he will plant a garden of doom around the entire map. Doom. No seeking arrows. While I was playing, you might have seen my arrow arc adjust itself to hit some enemies here and there. That's a feature that thankfully Matt put in the game so you don't have to be a perfect archer all the time. This undoes that feature. Instead, your arrows will just follow their natural course all the time. The opposite of that, super seeking arrows, makes it so that your arrows are smart. They will adjust their arc tremendously to hit a target if there's a target anywhere remotely within where they could reach. Okay, I already explained the anti-gravity. I don't, as much as I could, basically explaining that I don't know what it does exactly. My bet is still on it making gravity go up for your arrows instead of down, because if it negated gravity entirely, once again, that is negating the value of the feather arrows, because their whole point is they're not affected by gravity. Start with shields. You saw me pick up... Oh no, you didn't see me pick up a shield, did you? No, shields... The shield will block one arrow, one attack. It's pretty standard, and go away. These normally pop up out of chests, but starting with shields, you can just start with one. Regenerating shields means after a short period of time of not hurting yourself, your shield will come back. So annoying. It's a new feature in Dark World. I've not tried it. I don't know exactly how long the timer is, but yeah. Regenerating shields. Wings! You saw me pick up wings twice. Lost them once. I love wings. You can just fly. There's so much freedom with just flying. Start with speed boots. These kill me, actually, because my character moves faster than I can respond to, and I kill myself. I don't like it. One thing you might notice is the player's option with the right trigger. You can pick to only have certain players have things. If I'm playing with friends who want to start with speed boots, I will let them have their speed boots, but I will not take them, because they'll kill me. Start with invisibility. Always fantastic to not be seen, but also difficult to not see your enemies. Stealth archers. I love pairing this with the darkness with the always darkness option below that you'll see. Archers do not give off light. You can play games of hide and go seek, and when the seeker finds you, it might be them that dies because you might be ready to shoot an arrow at their bum. Not very nice, I know, but fun games of hide and seek. Double jumping, new feature in Dark World. It explains itself. Exploding corpses! When you die, you go boom. This discourages people from killing you by way of jumping on your head, but at the same time, it doesn't stop them from doing it, because as they do it carefully, they can still get away from the explosion before they die. Trigger corpses! This is the same as exploding corpses, but like the trigger arrows up above, you get to choose when you go boom. Da-da-boom! I like the booms. Some people like Kisa really don't like the booms. Kisa prefers the return as ghosts option. Seek revenge from beyond the grave. Okay, so you can't have this and you can't have it and trigger corpses, but you can have it and exploding corpses now. Before Dark World, those options were exclusive. You had to if you had one, you couldn't have the other. But basically, you become a ghost and can kill people as a ghost. I love this. Even as much as I like the thought of this trigger corpses option, I also love this. Because instead of being a stationary bomb that someone's stupid enough to go by you, you can blow them up. You can hunt them down. They don't have to be stupid enough to go to where you are. Corpses drop their arrows. I love this option. I always have it on. Originally, I don't think you could have it on with exploding corpses at the same time. Because that would kind of... Well, it would make for a decent trap if you had it on with trigger corpses, to be honest. Because someone kills you, your body's laying there, so are your arrows. If they ran out of their own arrows and they want to come and pick up yours, kaboom! Oh, sorry, I just hit the button that would trigger the explosion if I were a triggered corpse. Encumbrance. A little hard to understand how effectively this mechanic works without actually using it, because I haven't tried it yet. It's another Dark World specific thing. So the more arrows you carry, the slower you are. I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. I just don't know exactly how much it slows you down, whether it makes itself a real burden or not. Small quivers, Dark World for these. Actually, I think this one was the original game, but small quivers means you can only hold up to 3 arrows instead of holding up to 6 and starting with 3. No quiver, you can only carry 1 arrow at a time, and that's the one that you're gonna fire if you... yeah, okay. No dodging! I would never play with this option. Not unless there was overwhelming fan support for saying, hey, Icarus, go and play a map without the ability to dodge. You saw me dodging quite frequently and like frantically when fighting the king of Towerfall there. I don't do it. I don't do no dodge runs. Super dodging, you can bet I use this. This option makes your dodge extra fast, extra long, and while I mentioned the speed boost up above makes me move faster than I can respond, with the dodge it's not every movement being super fast. It says you can plan some movements to be super fast where your normal movement is still normal speed. And that still works for me. Clumsy archers! I think this might be another Dark World feature. This one is, you drop an arrow when you dodge. When my friend who had Dark World before I thought to get it explained this feature, he just said it as, this option is stupid. And not to do it. Because just about everyone that I've played with, we dodge a lot. And if you drop an arrow every time you dodge, that means your quiver go bye-bye for using basic game mechanic? No. Show dodge cooldown, I like to have this option on, but don't need it. This will make little stars appear above your head when you can't dodge. This is a double-edged sword, though, because while it lets you know when you're able to dodge again, it also lets your opponents know when they can shoot you without you having the ability to dodge out of the way of it. Yeah. I like to have it on. For the most part, the people I play with haven't taken advantage of the knowledge of when I can and cannot dodge. But that might just be more to the nature of how fast this game is, how hard it is to notice that and react to it when it's still a thing. Free aiming I don't use because I play with the D-pad as opposed to the stick. What this does is if you're playing with the analog stick, you can aim in more than just 8 directions. You can aim literally anywhere along the curve of where your analog stick can go, and that's obviously a very useful feature for people who have that fine-tuned skill. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not skilled enough to do that. I prefer just the 8-directional aiming of the D-pad because that gives me limited options. I'm one of those who, you give me 250 options, I'm going to walk away without choosing a thing because I don't want to choose something. You give me 8, that's easy to do. I can choose between 8 options. No slipping. I almost exclusively play with this on because I hate ice levels. Slippery floors makes every floor ice level. There is an ice level in this game. There might be another one now, now with the Dark World expansion, but I haven't played all the Dark World maps. On my own copy here, I haven't even beaten a Dark World map at all. But playing with my one friend who owns the game, I played the final map of Dark World, Cataclysm, that I don't have access to yet because you gotta earn it, which is basically just a boss rush, and I kind of like that. I like just dealing with the bosses without a whole bunch of trash mobs. It's the number of things to keep track of. It's simple. I like it. Curses! This gets fun. Cursed bows. Shooting with an empty quiver kills! Can you tell how often I've died to that? Compared to my more trigger-happy friends and family, I think I've died to cursed bows all of like 3 times, as opposed to friends, niece, and nephews, and a niece or 2. They've killed themselves with cursed bows more times than I can count, and more times than I want to do. Cursed dodges, I've played with, but I don't like to. Dodging without catching an arrow or stopping someone kills. So you die anytime you use a an unneeded dodge, basically. And I use a dodge basically as an extended jump half the time. So yeah, playing with this option makes me die a lot. A lot. Big heads. Just makes your head huge. Not as in a big ego, it literally makes your head in the game giant. It's like you're playing Donkey Kong or something. Well, no, DK mode will also make your arms huge, you know. No hazards. I'm pretty sure this is new to Dark World, and I don't know what it does. I think it just turns all of these off. It might not be new to Dark World. I might have just overlooked it, or it might have changed its icon. Always dark. I always play with this if I'm going to go with stealth archers because the hide and go seek feature is fabulous. Slow time. The friend who introduced me to this game, this is his bread and butter. This basically turns him on God mode. He is unbeatable during slow time segments, and these features, by the way, turn the arena hazards on permanently for the entire map instead of just, you know, making it so they can pop out of the treasure chest. Always lava. That's either the sides or the top and bottom of the map will always be covered in lava, and you can't touch them. I like to sometimes play with this, not always. Always scrolling. This is enjoyable. This is great to make people laugh or swear at me. I try to avoid foul language if I can, but this makes Hisa and some other people tend to no, they yell at me in tongues I don't understand. Offset World. I love this one, but I don't use it very often because it is somewhat disorienting. What it does is it will offset the map. It'll just push it diagonally by half so that just everything is still there. Everything's still where it belongs. It just looks different. And that's why I use it, because I'm fine. I know the layout. I can still see where the different borders of the map are, because there aren't borders. The one border stretches into the other, so you can cross literally from one side of the map to the other. You didn't see that in the throne room because of the fact that there really wasn't. Oh no, you saw that in the throne room. The top and bottom borders. So I could fall from the bottom to the top. And when I had wings, I could have, if I wanted to, fly up through the top to get to the bottom. Dark portals spawn monsters. In versus maps, this is stupid and wrong. Versus maps should be about players fighting other players. Go ahead and comment below. You'd think I'm wrong about that. But Dark Portals makes monsters spawn to attack players, and I hate that. Should hate it. Yeah. Okay, and the power-up section is really all about what can and can't pop out of the chest. The Ignore Tower item set means that certain items are more prone to spawn in certain towers. Like the Thornwood map is more likely to spawn bramble arrows. The, I think it's Tower Forge map is more likely to spawn bomb arrows. But Ignore Tower item set means that any item has the same chance to spawn as any other item. Arrow Shuffle, new Dark World feature. Don't know exactly what it does. Picks 2 random arrow types to include. I don't know. Maybe that's exclusive with. No, it's not exclusive with Ignore Tower item set. I might have to look into this option to see what it actually does. No shield, yeah, and all these are just no. These items cannot appear in the chest, which tells you what each of the items that can come out of chests are. Shields, wings, the speed boots. The looking glass is the invisibility item. Normal arrows, bomb arrows, all the different arrows. Dark orbs make darkness. Time orbs make slow time. Lava orbs bring lava. Space orbs make the screen scroll. And bombs. Bomb chests. For my fun rounds, I'll turn all items that can come out of chests off, so that nothing but bombs will come out of the chest. That makes it so that people avoid the chest instead of flocking to it, making for a somewhat silly but still entertaining game. Anyways, that's Towerfall, at least a short play of versus mode on it, and the list of variants that I can do. I mean, a short play of a single player map is now labeled co-op instead of story, and a list of the options for versus mode. I might have to look into the options here as well. Because maybe there's something they can do to handle some of that lag we experienced. But for now, that's all we got. Icarus is out.